So far, so good. All right. All right.
All right.
All right. I don't think it revert. Did it revert? Oh my gosh. It didn't revert, as far as I can tell.
Oh, it's still, yeah, you're right. It's still just chatting. Huh.
What in the world? Oh my god. It's a miracle. Miracles do happen, guys.
All right. I don't know if that's, it's a small miracle, I guess, but
Anyway, welcome to Poopcast the podcast, episode 4. It's a shit show. Anyway, so over this week, we've had quite a lot of gaming news. There's been the PlayStation Showcase, which had a ton of good releases, or good trailers, soon to be releases, and those are going to be amazing whenever they do come out. And we also had the Epic Games and Apple lawsuit. And other than that, not too much. But that in and of itself is pretty big, pretty big.
yeah, that's right. The Epic Games thing is the lawsuit is about, wasn't it? Epic was circumventing the Apple Store.
So yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. So Epic was having microtransactions, but they weren't going through Apple, and Apple didn't like that. They weren't getting all the monies, right? And
Yeah, they were
Apple,
basically not getting their cut.
yeah, and Apple needs, their part of the monies, or else they'll get mad. Of
Of
course,
course. Yeah.
of course.
When you have a slice, you gotta give a slice to Apple.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what that was, and I kind of want to get to that later on. I want to talk about the big news first. All right, the PlayStation Showcase. The PlayStation Showcase was amazing. We had giant announcements, such as God of War Ragnarok. All right.
Yeah. I'm not surprised about another God of War game, of course.
Oh yeah. Well,
I
they gave a teaser at the last PlayStation thing,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
remember.
I don't pay too much attention to God of War. I never really was big on God of War. I do own the games, most of the games, because my dad played it.
Yeah. I've played the third one. I didn't play the first two, and I played God of War 2018. And let me say,
That's
God of War.
the redone, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
not?
yeah. It's the one in the Norse mythology.
Yeah. The one before Ragnarok.
Yes, it's the one before Ragnarok. Yeah.
Right.
So I've played God of War 2018, and of course I played God of War 3. I've watched videos on God of War 1 and 2, but they're all really, really phenomenal games. But I have to say, God of War 2018, as the older God of War will bring nostalgia to me. The newer God of War just seems like a amazing overall game. I wouldn't say better because they're both respectively good. They're good at what they did, right? One
Mm-hmm.
was a puzzle, like kind of linear, and this one it's also kind of linear, but it's more open, and more RPG like elements where you
Bit
get
more of a
armors. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit. It has a bit more of a. The open feel makes it feel like even though it is a linear story, it makes it feel a little bit less like railroading.
Yeah. It makes it feel like you can go off the track a little bit, and you can actually in some of these games. And just looking at it, there's already a ton of changes. I don't know why, but YouTube always puts my settings at like 720 or 1080 anymore. But if we
Are
go
you
back in
bragging?
this, no, it's
Sir, my YouTube puts me at 360, all right, by default.
if I do it on my phone, it does it to me too. But looking at the trailer, you can already see they've added so much stuff to God of War. Like my favorite part in particular is you use the Blades of Chaos, the most iconic weapon in the PlayStation series, I'd have to say, but the most iconic weapon as a grappling hook, which I love, dude.
I love grapple mechanics in a lot of things.
Yeah, and this
I'm just
one
and especially any instance like that where you can grapple an enemy.
yeah. So yeah, you can use it as a grapple to an enemy. I'm pretty sure you could probably grapple an enemy to you, and apparently you can use it actually on the terrain as well, which looks phenomenal. All
Adds a
right.
bit more platforming to it, which I always enjoy some platforming.
Oh yeah, that's going to bring up another game. We'll talk about that after we go over the PlayStation Showcase. Just remind me of platforming once we
Okay, I'll try to.
yeah. But
All I know about the God of War 2018 is boy.
boy, boy. Apparently in God of War, um, I'm assuming this is going to come out in 2022. But in this one, according to the lore books, if they go by the lore books that they've made, he's no longer going to be called boy. And they've added a good variety of mobs too. All right, now I want to point out right here. Someone said that this was the deer that Atreus had killed in God of War 2018 that he hunted. That's clearly a ram. I'm just pointing this out. That is
Yeah,
100%
yeah,
a ram.
that's a ram.
There was something else. Oh yeah, let's go back even further into the video real quick, where they're getting into a boat. Okay.
I assume he'll no longer be called boy because he's been Kratos has recognized him
Yeah,
as
Kratos
who
has
he was.
accepted him more um as his heir and as an actual uh god, right?
Yeah,
Because you
I
can't
mean you
call
can
a
also
god boy. Right?
yeah, well,
That's
I
fucked
mean
up.
yeah, but I
That's
mean
fucked up.
I kind of assumed that part of it was because I mean and I don't you said you didn't play the very first one, but his family was murdered
Murdered,
and
and the
yeah,
ashes are
so
burned into his skin,
yeah, mhm,
which is
which
why
set
he's
off
so
his
pale.
yep.
Oh yeah,
So it's like I assumed that was like he was trying to not be so close because like the last time he was close to his family,
they
they
died.
got fucking
Yeah, they
murdered.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah, they died to the what was it? Ares. Ares
Yeah.
caused a war, and
Yep.
had them hunt them down.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert: if you haven't played this old ass game, Ares is the god of war in the Greek
Was
pantheon, and then Kratos came and murdered him.
he's
GG's.
also called Mars in the Roman pantheon.
True, true. But I want to get to another point right here, where not yet. When they get in the boat, right there. Okay, there is a group of people who are upset that they have the exact same boat animation as God of War 2018. Like, what do people expect from developers? They make one game, right, and then they make a sequel, right? Do they expect them to literally get rid of every single thing in the sequel and make the whole world brand new engine and everything every time? Is that what people
I
expect?
I don't know. It's such a weird thing to nitpick though because it's like yeah, the boat and getting in the boat, the animation for getting in the boat is insane. Is
Bless
that
you,
really what you want to care about? Like the effort that they could
bless you.
that they put onto he always
I know
fucks
he's so
me.
good at it. He's so good.
Uh, but the effort that could have been put into like doing a brand new animation for getting the boat has instead been used for other things in the game, like enemies and attack animations and for various new weapons potentially and
Yeah,
all this other stuff.
so people are seeing this animation, right? And they're saying that God of War Ragnarok could have been a standalone DLC.
No,
Right, exactly. It's
you
going to have
can't determine
40
that just by one animation. There
exactly.
are it's a long history of games where like you do recycle things like that. Like that used to be an old the thing that happened near constantly, especially when
Look at
there
World of
were a
Warcraft.
lot more graphical when there were a lot more graphical limitations and everything. if you had an animation that worked and didn't take up a lot of space, you would fucking use it again.
Exactly. Like I said, look at World of Warcraft. They literally just reuse everything. Every asset in the game continuously reused.
Mhm.
Right? And it's been that way for almost every expansion, and except for the ones they did giant overhauls, right?
Mhm.
So you complain about this stuff, but you have games that have lasted well over a decade that are doing the exact same thing, right? God of War
Yeah.
franchise, well over a decade, they're reusing one animation that we've seen. Literally, there's brand new mobs, there's brand new attacks that we're seeing,
Brand new
right?
executions.
Oh yeah, and people are nitpicking at a boat. At a boat. It's so annoying.
It's so funny to see the head on just on the belt in the back.
Oh yeah, and then Fat Thor. Apparently, Thor's gonna be fat in this, and I honestly think that that's
He's
cool.
yeah, based on the hand there, he seems like a bulky boy.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
honestly
it's
cool. Like,
fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. No one said that like every god needs to be a, an Adonis with it like nothing but pure muscle. It's like
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, like, people assume fat means unhealthy and weak, when there's a lot of bigger people who can lift a lot more than you. Like, think about it this way.
have you ever
If you
seen like one of
weigh
the like world's strong men or whatever?
exactly,
They're all
they have those
big
big
guys.
bellies. Yeah, they have those
Yeah,
big
because
bellies.
it's all they work on their arms and everything. Their arms are thick. Like on it, and I like. Can you imagine how unnatural it looks if like they had a really slim like chest area
Yeah,
and then
really
like
slim
big
core,
beefy arms?
but like giant arms. Like, that would look super weird. It would just be unnatural to me, right?
That
But
would look
like,
really bad in the game too. Like a character designed like that, it just would look bad.
yeah, I mean, and you don't want literally Kratos to be copy and pasted as Thor, right? With a little bit different armor and more hair.
Hmm.
That's not what you want. You want some variety, and you want it to be accurate. And some of the strongest men in the world, they have those bigger bellies, right? So
Hmm.
you got to be accepting of that, and got to realize this is actually accurate. And a lot of people are like, Fat Thor. Wow. Now, if I had to say so, just off the pictures of the Thor in God of War Ragnarok and the Thor in the Marvel movies, the Fat Thor in Marvel movies, I'd say God of War Ragnarok is still my favorite. Mwah. He looks dope. Now I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to blind you all. No flashbangs this time. Um, but yeah, I think the Ragnarok Thor, look it up, looks dope though. We all know what the Marvel Thor looks like. Also, I want to point out this scene. All right, they cucked us right here. Now, I don't know if you've watched this,
I
but
haven't watched it. No.
okay. But they cuck us right here because they're like, "Oh, you'll have your answer soon enough." Well,
Oh, and then it doesn't have a release
some,
date.
yeah, yeah. Look at it. No release date. You'll have your answer soon enough.
uh, that's funny.
So, oh,
Yeah, that could
okay.
have that would have been that's like oops missing in release date there.
Yep, yep.
It doesn't even have a estimate, does it? Like not
All
even
it
like
says is
coming
it's
winter.
copyright. It says copyright 2021 and coming to PlayStation consoles, not yet
Yeah,
available.
okay. Yeah, so it doesn't even say like coming in winter 2022.
Nope.
Hmm,
They're
wow.
gonna. I feel like they're just gonna spring it in on us at some point, right?
I'm actually fine with that. I because public backlash tends to be worse if they were to say, "Oh, it's coming in fall 2022," and then they end up, and then they're like, "Okay, well, we have to actually delay it." And it's like at that
Actually,
point, their option
that's
not
already
to delay
happened
it.
with God of War. God of War
Really?
Ragnarok was delayed. It was supposed to come out. Um, I'm pretty sure last year, and then they delayed it. And you know what? I'm okay with it because just looking at this trailer right here, is amazing. Like, I'm not going to complain at all because it looks good. It's going to play good, and I love God of War. It's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
I also like the difference in armor. So in God of War 2018, you had this classical almost Norse armor, right?
Mhm.
So basically everything here but the fur, right? And you can tell now that it's getting into Winter and shit's starting to cool down, it's the telling of the end times for the Norse gods, right? As they would say. Uh
Yep.
he's starting to wear more furs, and you can tell these small differences. Atreus, he's grown up a little bit. He's a little bit taller. He has a different voice. He's out hunting deer on his own now. I
Mhm.
especially like this intro scene when he's walking into the cave, how he's kind of shadowed, right? With
Yeah.
the deer on his back and the horns sticking right here. Because isn't that the like classic Loki helmet, right? With the horns
I
on it.
don't know.
Doesn't it have horns?
The I don't know about, like, Norse mythology Loki having horns on the
Um,
helmet,
oh no,
but,
but I think it fits Loki's personality though, or how he's depicted in
uh
nowadays, right?
I mean, it's also just nice inherently because, like, the first thing we see in this trailer is Atreus just walking in. He's like his father's not worried about Kratos isn't worried about his safety or anything. He's just minding his own business, and his son comes walking in with basically dinner for them.
Yeah, yeah. You can tell he right there he notices someone's there, and then
Yeah.
I love Kratos's calm demeanor at all times almost. Right? He's obviously the guy who goes fucking crazy in combat because he's so angry, but he seems
Hmm.
so calm every other time, right? He just
Yep.
seems so calm.
The calm before the storm, basically.
Pretty much. And it's so good. It's such a good personality trait. I think it fits his character. I think what they're doing with God of War, it just fits the character so well. Everything just fits.
Yeah.
So
First
good.
three was just nothing but fury for Kratos,
Yeah, and he
and
killed the
then
Olympian pantheon and all that good stuff. He set Pandora's box free. Um what else did he do? I don't remember. But he did some
fucked
crazy shit.
Aphrodite.
Yeah, he did some crazy shit though. Like Kratos is a badass. And to see him change so much from the first God of Wars where he wanted to do nothing but die, right? And he was so pissed the entire
Well,
time.
he's got something to live for now.
Yeah, he does. I love this shot though. I love the capes. I don't know if people realize it. I'm a big fan of capes. I love capes, especially fur capes. Those are dope. Actually, any type of cape. All right.
All the capes.
I'm a cape guy. I like capes. All right. Oh, I like this scene too. This scene's so good. All right. I think we're done talking about God of War.
Yeah,
We'll
probably.
we'll, we'll move on to Knights of the Old Republic remake.
I'm actually kind of surprised that that they're doing Knights of the Old Republic.
Are you? I'm not really
I
surprised that they're remaking it. It's been
I mean,
wanted for a
people have
long time
wanted, yeah, just because people have wanted it doesn't mean that,
that it'll
like,
get done.
it was expected to be done. I mean, people have wanted a remake of Oblivion, and that's not fucking happening. They've
That is
specifically
true.
said they're not gonna do it.
What surprised me about this entire thing is that not that it's being remade, but the fact that it's coming to PlayStation first. Right? So if you didn't know, Knights of the Old Republic is going to be a timed exclusive between PlayStation and PC, and then it'll eventually come to Xbox. So Xbox will get it, but it's going to be a timed exclusive. Which, listen,
It's a good way of doing it.
I prefer timed exclusives to actual exclusives. Right?
Mhm.
I want everyone to be able to experience a game, right? And if it has to be exclusive, I prefer it be timed, right?
Yep.
Oh my god, look at that helmet, dude.
Yeah,
So that's an ancient Mandalorian helmet right there, apparently, because I was reading up on this. That's an ancient
nerd.
man. Yes, I am a nerd.
Yeah,
Hence why
I
I
know.
do gaming channel. Anyway, so why I do gaming channel. Oh, Forspoken, that was another game that was announced. We're not going to go over that one though. It looks cool though. Um, but it's an ancient Mandalorian helmet. He took off a dead Mandalorian, and I think Revan is super cool. But my
Yes,
favorite Sith of all time has to be Darth Sion. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Sion,
I thought you were
Sion.
about to say Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Darth Plagueis the One.
Have I ever told you?
Have I ever told you the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Please don't go into that.
Is not a story. But yeah, like I'm excited that they're remaking this. And, it is going to be a timed exclusive, but I'd much rather be a timed exclusive than a permanent exclusive. And, that excites me even more because that means it's going to get more of a fan base, which means they're more likely to do more cool games like this. Because this was a really niche game for a while, right?
And I'm excited about this because of what it can potentially mean. So, because as of Knights of the Old Republic getting remade,
Yeah,
if there's a bunch of if it does really well, what can potentially
it
happen
probably
is
will.
it probably will. You'll have the people who've wanted this for years buying it, but that can send a message. Hey, people want like stuff dealing with the Old Republic,
And
and
lightsabers actually act like lightsabers in this game, hopefully, instead of baseball bats. I'm so pissed about Jedi Fallen Order because lightsabers are baseball bats. Anyway, continue.
yeah, yeah. That I mean, you bring up a good point. Let's hope that they actually go with the idea, like they don't shy away from lightsabers doing what an actual lightsaber would do,
I,
where
I hope
you
they
don't.
have everything from the original dismemberment, one hit kills, right? Actual duels with lights, that'd be pretty fucking dope. I
Mhm.
want duels with lightsabers. Or one mistake and you're fucked. I like that. I like that though. That's just me, especially when it comes to Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars guy, and lightsabers will fuck you up if you get hit by them. Right? They're not just gonna
Yeah.
I got hit by a lightsaber. Good thing I have this trusty fucking armor on here that's probably made of plastic.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of the armors are canonically laser resistant, which is like the lightsaber is still a laser, but it's a consistent self-contained laser that just like does not get interrupted, as opposed to like a blaster bolt where it's a
E-
single shot. So if you block that one shot, you're good.
exactly. I'm okay with you know, whenever you're using a blaster, if you end up like being able to take a shot or two, that's fine, right? But when it comes to a lightsaber, I want that to be detrimental, right? I want it to
Yeah. Well,
be bad.
I mean, even in like in the movies or whatever, the prequels, I remember specifically there was a scene where like Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon Jinn or whatever uses the lightsaber to cut through like bulkhead door. It's like, so this would fucking slaughter you if it hits you, because this thing, he just holds it up to this thick bulkhead and it just cuts through.
Yeah, like literally, he holds it up to this door. Yeah, I think Darth Vader also did it. If you remember the original Star Wars, I think he
Oh
also
yeah,
did it,
yeah.
right?
When he does his entrance,
Yeah, he cuts through that door and he just
yeah,
walks in like a badass, right?
yeah.
Like
Which that also
lightsabers
is at
are,
the end of Rogue One, of course.
yeah, lightsabers are canonically badass, and they pretty much can't be stopped if the person wielding it has enough determination. I think
Hmm.
that's a good word. But yeah, I want this to be good. I want
Skill.
it to be what?
They have to have enough skill as well.
Yeah, skill,
I don't know,
skill and
just have a
determination.
lightsaber like fucking the new trilogy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's
anyone can just use a lightsaber and be an expert at it, apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? But I'm excited for this. I hope it does well. I hope people get interested in it, and you know, we see more of this. I like Star Wars. I like the old Star Wars the best. I want to
Hmm.
see Star Killer, but actually good Star Killer, right? A lot of people shit on those games. I never personally played them, but I know from a lot of people shitting on them,
I
they weren't all that great.
I believe I rented it before. I thought it was okay-ish.
Yeah, a lot of people shit on it, but I from the trailers they look badass, right? They looked badass, and I want something like that where you're just a badass with a lightsaber, and you got force lightning, and you're doing all this stuff like force lightning, running up buildings, all that good shit. It looked awesome.
I like the idea of Starkiller a lot, where it's like, oh, Darth Vader didn't just like can, resolve him, resign himself to being the Emperor's number two forever. It's like he was building up his own training his own secret apprentice, and then they were going to kill the Emperor, and then Vader was going to be number one.
Yeah,
It's like that's kind of what the Sith is about.
the Sith seem to be more about there's a master, and then
Master and apprentice.
yeah, master and apprentice, and then the apprentice kills the master every time. That's normally what it is. But I think we've talked about Star Wars for a decent minute, and I'm super excited for this. I think Nine, you're pretty excited as well.
Isia has wanted me to interject that the rule of twos was established by Darth Bane, which is that there will only ever be two Sith, the Master and the Apprentice,
Yeah,
in order to consolidate the power of the dark side in only two people.
indeed. Yeah, but yeah, that whew, I'm excited for this. I'm so excited. But we're gonna move on to Spider-Man. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan, but I did enjoy the first game, and I played Miles Morales, and it was pretty goddamn good. All right, but Spider-Man 2 looks phenomenal. So it's made by Insomniac. Insomniac makes a lot of good games and a lot of Marvel games, right? Unfortunately, this is exclusive to PS5 only. Uh, but you know what? It is
Didn't
what
they?
it is. Can't
Was
change it.
Miles Morales also exclusive?
Miles Morales was exclusive. So was Spider-Man 1.
Okay, so this is something that they're trying to keep hold of, as opposed to
Sony
the
owns
Knights of the
Spider-Man.
Old Republic, where they're like willing to let that go to a wider audience quicker, so it can get more.
Yeah. So when you look at it, um, Disney owns both Marvel and uh, all the characters, but Sony owns Spider-Man.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. Because Marvel has to. Yeah, Marvel
So
has to work. Ask Sony for permission
yeah.
to use Spider-Man.
So Sony can do whatever they want with Spider-Man. So it makes sense that it's going to be PlayStation exclusive, Sony PlayStation. So of course, Spider-Man's going to be. I
Hey,
hate
I
that
mean,
this
they gotta
seems
take
super dumb.
advantage of while they still have it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if they ever run out, if their rights to over it ever like run out, they're probably not gonna get them back.
I don't think their rights are going to run out. They just fucking own him, right? I just think that's
Um,
how it is.
I believe. Well, I believe your rights can run out as long if you stop making content for something, it will go back to will default back. That's why a lot of that's why you run into like with the film industry, you'll run into last minute films just pushed out, even if they're shit, because they were about to lose the rights to this. So I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's plenty out there where like they just shit out a
Captain Marvel.
crappy movie. I don't
I never
think
watched Captain Marvel, but the opinions of it is overall negative, and I do know that they have to
it could have
release
been a lot
Captain
better.
Marvel. They have to release Captain Marvel content once every 2 years in order to continue the license of Captain Marvel, or else they
Yeah,
lose the name.
yep. And then it would default back, and the studio who has the rights to it right now or whatever wouldn't be able to do anything with it because they'd have to renegotiate for getting for to purchase those rights to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course, like if something's been successful before, odds are it's going to be more expensive to trying to get the rights back to it.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like that's like if Sony loses the rights to Spider-Man, Marvel's probably not gonna give it back, in all honesty.
Oh
Marvel's
no,
just gonna
that's not
keep
going to
hold of it,
happen.
especially since Disney has it now. Disney will just start pumping out the Spider-Man content.
Oh, for sure. They'll totally sell out on Spider-Man. But luckily Sony has it and I think Sony's doing really good with it. Now, the only unfortunate side, like I said, I wish exclusivity was only timed. I wish everyone could play games, and everyone could just have a good time, right?
Yeah, it would be
Console
great,
wars
but
are fucking
I
stupid, but
understand why.
yeah, I understand why too. More Mooney, but you know, it's just my opinion. I think console wars are stupid, but whatever makes the company more money, they're going to try to endorse, promote, and do. That's just how it
Mhm.
is. Uh, but overall, this Spider-Man trailer looks phenomenal. I love Miles Morales. That game was amazing. Miles is a great character. I think he was a bit too kiddish. He is a kid, of course, but
He's younger than, Peter Parker is, though, when he
yeah,
became Spider-Man, though.
he
That's the
is.
thing.
In my opinion, a bit too kiddish, but I like it. I really like it. He's a good character. I love him. Spider-Man,
Miles
he's a little
Morales
bit
has the, electric powers too that are just, like, inherent to him, right?
yeah, so if you'll watch the trailer right here, you'll see a guy hit the post in a moment. Thought it was going to happen sooner than this. Yeah, so you see the electric go, then you'll see a guy hit the post. So the electric is Miles Morales.
Yeah, yeah, and then he has web shooters, right?
I think
He
so.
does he's not because I think they go with the classic, like, classic Peter Parker also doesn't that the, Sam Raimi movies were the exception, because most of the times, Spider-Man is portrayed as using web shooters that he designed. Like, he designed the concoction and everything else,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
adds to, like, his genius intellect rather than just, "Oh, he has these powers." It
So
also
yeah,
adds some, weakness to him because he has to make sure he has
the
if he
concoction.
doesn't have it yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so as far as I know, the web shooters are still a thing, and yeah, I don't think anyone just uses, like the first Spider-Man comics where he just had this stuff. But yeah, so Miles Morales super cool. I think my favorite character in the Spider-Man universe is Venom.
Yep, you've mentioned that to me before. This is a great shot, by the way. This is a great setup to, like, this Venom shot too, especially with, like, the lights flickering.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think of Venom, Venom very much leans into, like, horror
He's a nightmare.
elements.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Venom, my favorite character. I love the carnage he is. He's like an anti-hero, but not a villain, right? And I love that about most characters. I like anti-heroes that aren't villains, right?
Yeah, it's really Venom is just really interesting because the Venom symbiote itself, just its entire goal, it wants to go back to Spider-Man. It wants to go back to Peter Parker because
That's
Peter
if you
Parker,
go comic canon. Yeah,
yeah, if
I like the
it
movies,
wants to go
and
back to him, and then like the original host Eddie Brock basically hates Spider-Man, and like so it's conflicting emotions.
mhm.
So there's I believe there's a couple times where, like, Spider-Man defeats Venom by a seemingly wanting to take the symbiote back, so it abandons Eddie Brock.
Yeah, yeah. I think Venom, like I said, I think he's a really good character. I like the nightmare fuel that Venom is. Uh, he's just overall my favorite. Like the movies, I like the how they did it in the movies. Uh, or the Venom movie. Now they're coming out with Venom: Let There Be Carnage, and I'm so excited. That's coming out October 1st, by the way. It looks so
October
good. The
1st, less than a
CGI,
month. Wow.
yeah, the CGI in it. If you haven't seen the trailer, looks unparalleled. It looks so good. If you haven't seen the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer, look it up for yourself.
I'm hoping that
It is
there's gonna
amazing.
be more that they're more confident in the CGI this time for the
I think it was
second
pretty
movie.
good in the
The
first one
first,
too.
but the first one, I feel like they didn't have. I feel like they didn't have confidence in it, right? Because they did a lot of shots at night in the middle of the dark. So with like the symbiotes being dark colored. So I feel like there wasn't as much confidence as they could have had in the CGI for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you want have a lot of confidence in in the CGI you've got set up for like this dark for these dark colored things, you're gonna put them in daylight in the movie.
Now, I do agree with you. I do believe they were kind of lacking a bit of confidence, but I also feel like, the night shots kind of fit the whole Venom theme as well. So it may have been lack of confidence, but it was also really good because it fits the Venom theme, right? Like I said,
Yeah,
like we've been saying, nightmare fuel, right?
yep.
And, nighttime, scary monster, that's nightmare fuel. But I
Scary
also,
monster that blends into the dark.
exactly. And like I said, Venom, my favorite. I love Carnage as well. I think Woody Harrelson's going to play a really good Carnage in the upcoming movie. So that's going to be good. Or he's not playing Carnage, but he's playing the host of Carnage. I forget his
Well,
name.
yeah, I mean he basically is
He
uh,
is Carnage,
Carnage.
right? Yeah.
What is it? Sam Cassidy?
Yeah, it's Sam Cassidy. There you go. Yeah, I'm not good at remembering all the names. I don't even remember actors' names for the most part, unless they are just like talked about maybe within that week. So, but yeah, love Spider-Man. It looks so amazing. Everything PlayStation has came out with in the showcase, well, most everything, looked
Most everything.
phenomenal. Most everything. God of War, Knights of the Old Republic, Spider-Man 2. Let's move on to Wolverine. Wolverine is an amazing character. All right, one of my favorites as well. I love a lot of these Marvel characters that they're not necessarily heroes. They're not villains, right?
Kind of the anti-hero. Well,
Exactly. I wouldn't say that Wolverine's a hero in
anti-hero,
like the
but like
movies.
the reluctant hero maybe.
Yeah,
Is
reluctant. There you go. Anti-hero slash reluctant hero. Deadpool's an anti-hero. I like him. He's pretty cool. I like Deadpool back when the video game was released, which was before the movies. The video game was so fun.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I love this scene where he just pulls out the claws when the guy's walking towards him with the knife pulled. So if you notice, the bar's destroyed in these scenes, right? The bar is
Mhm.
destroyed. All right. And this
Have they
guy,
done much with Wolverine in terms of games?
in terms of game, no, they really haven't.
I'm shocked
Movies,
that they
yes.
haven't really, because 'cause they've done so much with the movies for Wolverine. In every X-Men
X-Men.
movie, he's
X-Men
basically been
movies. Yeah.
a main focal point of nearly every X-Men movie, though.
Hmm.
So that's which, like, is understandable, but, like, I would actually like to see more X-Men movies media with, Wolverine not being, like, one of the main
The main
focal points.
characters, which you
Yeah,
may see more because the guy who played Wolverine, I'm Hugh Jackman. There we go.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
Yeah,
Jackman is no
huge
longer going to
jacked
be.
man.
Yeah, huge jacked man is no longer going to be playing Wolverine.
Yep.
So we may see more X-Men media without Wolverine, which I'm okay with. Right?
Yep.
Wolverine had a story. His story was phenomenal. I loved Logan. The Logan movie was awesome. But just excited to see the game, and I'm excited for the future of X-Men movies as well. Like you said, good X-Men movies without Wolverine, right? Gone but not forgotten. But
Mhm. I like what at the end there when the claws come out, you see like the brief hesit not I don't know if hesitation is the word I want to use, but like he gears up to do it, right? He gears up to bring the claws out because canonically he
it's
has to
painful
reopen
every
those wounds
time.
every
Yeah,
so
because
it's not like he has to tear his flesh open every single time that he brings the claws out because he
yeah,
heals it
his
right
healing
back up.
ability. Yeah, and you can even see that right here how he just ripped, like you can see the blood coming out a little bit. See
Mhm.
right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like his knuckles are already bloody and everything, but you can tell that this is fresh blood from where he just split the wounds open.
Mhm.
And that's super cool. I like how he's clenching both fists and then whoosh, they come out. And I love the metal claws. I think the bone claws were also really cool, but the metal claws the best,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, Wolverine, we didn't get much. This is obviously a short teaser. It's literally, let's see, it goes from a 14 seconds in and it ends at 37 seconds. So it's obviously a very short teaser, but the cinematic for it looks amazing. I like the cowboy hat he wears.
The cowboy hat on the person who's Canadian.
You like that? But yeah, Wolverine looks really good. We only got a little taste of what it is, and I'm excited for it. It just looks good.
So what do you think this is that this scene is actually taking place? Because it's obvious somewhere in either in southern,
That says Quebec right there.
is it really Quebec with
Look,
like the western type feel?
yeah.
Wow,
I mean, if you look at that license plate, it says Quebec. I can only assume it's Quebec.
that's weird. I wouldn't have thought that this was taking place in Canada. I would have thought that he would have been in like southern in USA or like
Yeah, I would have too
northern.
if I didn't literally just notice that this just said Quebec. I think I don't know what it says under that. Maybe see if we can get a better shot. Netherlands, maybe. I can't tell. It's too small, and it's behind that wire.
Yeah.
Can't really tell, but you can definitely tell that says Quebec.
Hmm.
But yeah, Logan looks not Logan, but Wolverine looks really good. I'm thinking Logan because I was thinking of movies, but
You thinking it's gonna? Do you think it's gonna go M or yeah M? I have to think about whether I was getting the
it's
uh
Wolverine. Yes, I think it's gonna go in.
yeah. It'd be disappointing if they didn't. Honestly, I mean with just
I'm pretty
based
sure
on the
God of
graphics
War's rated
that we
M.
see so far, it should be M.
Yeah, I think a lot of PlayStation stuff is going to be rated M because that's their target demographic. They're making cinematic universes that
Not
aren't.
not Spider-Man 2.
I don't think Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2
not gonna
will
be
be,
M.
but
It's
I
just
think it's
gonna.
going to be like T for teen at least
Oh yeah, minimum for sure. I mean, you can't.
because it will have that little bit of edge to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think most of PlayStation's games, their cinematic universe, their target audience is people who want a cinematic like feel when playing games, and also feeling like a badass and seeing that graphical gore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good example is God of War 2018. Spoilers if you haven't played it. When I'm going to give you three, two, one. All right, if you're still here, you're going to get spoilers. When he kills that giant dragon, right
How
after the
fucking dare
elevator.
you spoil that for me? The
Exactly.
elevator? How dare you spoil that
Yeah,
for me? I
the
was
elevator,
looking forward to
man,
that
the
elevator.
elevator. But yeah, after the elevator scene where you killed the giant dragon that's shooting this lightning out of its mouth instead of fire, it's shooting lightning, which is dope, by the way. Uh,
Nidhogg?
huh?
Nidhogg?
I don't remember his name, but when he's shooting this lightning out, you have this one really cinematic shot, or not, but this I guess it's like span of like a minute where you have to mash a button at one point to take this giant metal crane and shove it into the dragon, right? Because obviously you beat the fuck out of the dragon and you shove it into the neck of the dragon,
Oh,
right?
the neck. Okay, that's not where I thought you were going with
Yeah,
that.
I knew, that's why I had to specify 9. But you shove it into the neck or the mouth or something. You shoved it into the dragon,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'll insert my own place of where I'm shoving it.
And then, there's this huge cinematic scene where he's, freaking out and, he's just in pain and he's about to die. You go flying, right? And then he's about to, He's rearing up because he's about to die. Then he falls
Mhm.
down, right? And it's so cinematic because you're standing right there in place as he's falling, and his mouth is wide open. And he's obviously dead at this rate as he's falling, right?
Mhm.
And the mouth is open just enough so you are sitting there where the mouth is open, where if it was closed, it would, crush you. Of course, it's
Yeah.
Kratos, it wouldn't have crushed him, but still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's super cinematic, and it looks badass, and it's gory as fuck, right? Well,
Yeah.
maybe not gory. It's not Resident Evil
I
gory.
mean, the God of War games have always been gory. The kills have always been gruesome.
Yeah, but that,
Like, I
that seems to
mean, he
be
ripped the head off of Zeus, so
yeah, that seems to be more the direction of where Sony's going, though. That's their target audience, is people who can handle that. And I think Wolverine being, I'm pretty sure this might be exclusive. Uh,
it's not announced, right, as
yeah,
exclusive or not.
I don't think it's announced as pretty much anything other than a teaser.
Right.
So yeah, like I think that whatever it is, even if it's not exclusive, it's going to be gory because that's what Sony wants, and this is being made by Insomniac once again. Insomniac, creators of
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Uh, so it's obviously going to be a gory game because I think that's the direction that one Wolverine
I
goes
think
in.
that's what people want from it too. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people who want a Wolverine game where you're clawing people
Where
with
the claws are
adamantine
baseball bats.
claws. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything's baseball bats to me. But yeah, yeah. I don't think people want that. I don't want that. Finally, I want to talk about Gran Turismo. That's one of the last things that was announced at uh the PlayStation Showcase. Gran Turismo was one of my first games. I'll always hold it close to heart. I love Gran Turismo. Of course, Gran Turismo is just a racing game, so not much really you can change there every time except for
Uh,
adding new cars, a
you
little
can
bit of
there's always some improvements you can minor improvements that go a long way with like racing games or sport games in general. I don't know about like football games necessarily. They usually just change roster. But racing games are very intuitive about like anything you change in a racing game is going to change the entire feel of it.
yeah, yeah. I haven't played Gran Turismo in quite a while, but it'll always be near and dear to my heart. But I really don't. I'm gonna be honest. If I want to play a racing game, just a straight up hit the track, go racing, I'm gonna play Gran Turismo. If I want to play a car game, I'm gonna play Forza, right? Which is the Xbox,
X
X
blocks.
Xbox version of Gran Turismo, but it's more open world, and you get
Mhm.
to explore cities, countrysides, all that good stuff, and you can compete in races as well. So
Yeah.
if I'm just going pure fucking raceaholic, basically, I'm going to choose Gran Turismo. I love Gran Turismo. But if I want to, cruise, see some beautiful graphics, uh, not necessarily be hardcore into the race, but also want to play a racing game, I want to play Forza. Right? That's just where I'm
No,
at.
that's kind of interesting. Like that screen there before like it's shifted over to the car where like you
This
had
one?
all these buildings.
Oh, you mean the kind of like mobile app type of thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gran
Whoever. Where
Turismo's always been like this, I think.
I've never played a Gran Turismo game. I've never been big
Really?
into racing games.
I mean, me neither, but I remember playing on the PS1. The
Mm.
PS. Imagine how young I was when I played that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
I
fun
was pretty
though.
young. Yeah, I enjoyed the PS1. I've got a soft spot for PlayStation because I grew up with PlayStation 1, PS2.
I got a soft spot for PlayStation 2 because I grew up with PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. There you
Yeah.
go.
But did you ever have a PSP?
Yes, I did. My favorite game on the PSP was Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories.
Hmm.
That was
I
my
had the
favorite game.
what was it? There was one, I can't remember the name of it, that I enjoyed playing, that was kind of more of like a hack and slash type game.
Hmm.
Uh, but then they also had a medieval game that came out for the PSP, which I enjoyed.
Huh. PSP was like my go-to console. If you didn't know, I was a child laborer who worked on an ice cream truck. Not fun. Never, never live your dreams, kids. You want to work on? Don't do it. It sucks.
You
Anyway,
don't get to eat ice cream all day.
you don't. And in my
Cause
experience, I didn't even get paid.
oof, always get paid for what you do, people.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding. It was like 100 degrees outside, being a fucking ice cream truck moving at 5 miles per hour, no wind. You're sweating your ass off in there, selling ice creams to these little shits. Okay. Anyway, anyway. So,
This is the portion of the podcast where you find out that Ron's life has been very, very difficult.
it has been. Fuck you, man. It's true though. But as I said, PlayStation near and dear to my heart. I love Grand Theft Auto, but not Grand Theft Auto, Gran Turismo. But I also love Grand Theft Auto, which we're going to talk about that too here in a moment. But I love Gran Turismo. Uh, but like I said, I'm not really into racing games. But I have my opinions on the racing games, which I've already shared. But you were talking about PSP. Need for Speed Underground, one of my favorite fucking games.
Mm.
That was a
Was Need for
PSP game.
Speed? There was one PS2 game, that racing game, that like had a mode where like you could just like destroy, where you got points for destroying things or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't remember what game that was. I
I
don't
don't
think it was a Need for Speed, but
it Wreckfest. I know that's a game that's out. That's literally just a demolition derby, more or
maybe I don't
less.
know. That's kind of always what I did. I remember I had a NASCAR game for like the PS2. They didn't like like you smashing into the other cars, so you did like that's not how were supposed to play the game. But like in my little child mind, it's like, no, I want to smash cars into each other.
Yeah. So you were talking about platformers and how you like platformers, right?
Yes.
There's this game that I've been looking into that I really am anticipating. PlayStation game, once again. This wasn't at the
Is this
showcase.
the one where you play as a cat?
You play as a cat with a tiny little backpack on, and
Oh
it's
my
so
god.
adorable. And I want this game so bad.
Okay. Okay.
But you're playing as a cat in this like robotic world, which is very weird. But you're
Hmm.
you're a stray. You're just on the streets. You're trying to get food and shit, I guess, and find your owners. I'm not sure what the plot is, but the game's a platformer, and it just seems really interesting to me. And I love cats. I like animals, not just
Yeah.
cats. I like animals. I
Look at
like
that
the little
little
barber
backpack.
shop ring. Oh my god. Oh, it's so this game's so adorable. It's gonna be great when it comes out.
It's got a lot of charm to it, from the looks of it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
What's curious is you don't see any. I haven't seen any in actual human
Humans.
beings in this. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you noticed. I'll go back in the trailer once the trailer's done. Oh, you're seeing a little bit of the platforming right here. Yeah, this is pretty good, man. This is pretty good. Oh, he's so cute, so cute. And he meows at the end. Oh. Anyway, so let's go back here. If you look at the background, you can see R.I.P. humans, and then there's a heart.
Oh, okay. So something happened. Humans are
So, yeah, from this you can gather
okay.
humans.
Something happened. Most likely a disease would be my best guess.
Yeah, something happened to them. We don't know what yet. You can take guesses. I'm not going to take a guess. But something happened to them. They're no longer there. R.I.P. humans happen. And then there's heart after. So the robots didn't do it because there's a heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
These motherfuckers loved humans.
If the robots did it, it wouldn't. the robots not being responsible for it explains why the robots just look lost. You just look at them through this trailer, and they just look complete lost, like no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah, they
And
look lost, but they also look like they have a sense of community as well, right?
yeah, but I mean, no grand purpose. They're these are uh, beings that were created with a purpose in mind, and you just see some of them are just like sitting around. It's like,
Yeah. So like this one, for example, he's just sitting on a crate. These two are socializing. This one's just parked, looking at a
mhm.
cat, right?
I mean, I'd sit still and watch a cat.
I mean, true, but he's parked in the middle of the road watching a cat,
Yeah,
and that's it. So
yeah,
this game looks very interesting to me. I don't know if this game's exclusive. I don't know. I just know it's a platformer about a cat with a backpack, and it looks cute as fuck.
yep.
All right. Let's see. We have one more thing that I really want to touch on: the Epic versus Apple, which we started talking about a little bit in the beginning of the podcast, but we'll finish talking about it, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up. But Epic versus
So
Apple.
this was the thing related to the platform that you wanted me to
Yeah,
remind you
this
about. Right? Okay,
this is the thing related to the platform because it's a
okay.
platformer
I
game.
thought it might be, but so I didn't want to.
Yeah, it's cute as fuck. Yeah, but this is really why I wanted to show you. But yeah, it looks cute. That's why like it's a platformer. And it's cute. That's all. But
Yeah,
not PlayStation. Epic versus Apple.
Epic.
Epic versus Apple. The Epic stores were declared the winners.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily because they were saying that Apple ran a monopoly.
Yeah,
That wasn't a
that
win.
wasn't the case.
It was just that
So
Apple.
could not force them to use their service, their store
Yes,
as the go-to.
yeah, yeah. So Apple couldn't force Epic to use the Apple Store for microtransactions, meaning Apple gets a percentage of the profits made from the
Hmm.
microtransactions, which means that Apple has banned Fortnite from iOS platforms,
Hmm.
which
I
overall is it's not the best for Epic, but certainly not the worst. It's not like if they were banned from Windows, which is a lot more critical.
yeah, I do think that this is rather significant because it does mean that that games aren't games are not forced to have to go through like the Apple Store or the Google Store, any of these places for like any like mobile apps or anything they develop, or even like just going through if they're I don't know if Steam does it or anything like that. Going you wouldn't have to go through Steam for any transaction that
Well,
could be made in your game.
the argument for Steam is, and this argument could be made for Android as well. There's more than just one place to get these apps.
Yes, that's true.
Steam, Epic, EA has their own thing. Ubisoft has their own thing. All of it. Every company is making their own fucking launcher. So
Mhm.
you're right. You're right in that regard. I think Steam does take some of the profits, and that's why every company is starting to make their own launcher. That way, the
They
other
can pocket
companies
a bit
don't.
more of their
Yeah,
own. Yeah,
the other companies aren't making profit off of the sales that they made. It's just them collecting all the money,
yeah.
which all in all is good for
It's
the company,
fine.
but for the player, it's really fucking annoying to
It's
have.
annoying, but at the same time, you do not want to have you don't want to enable like Steam to have a full monopoly where it would be the only thing. Because in the event that that Steam starts imposing certain things that like wouldn't be popular with the
Yeah, I've
user
never had
base,
an issue with Steam.
I've
Never
not
had an
either.
issue.
I've honestly not either.
But I see
Er,
where you're coming
but
from. You don't
yeah,
want Steam to get all the
we haven't.
power.
Yeah, we've been fortunate where that we haven't had anything like that. There is a potential where like eventually bastard gets up to the top or whatever and decides, oh, let's start making let's start trying to make more money, and we start charging for like things benign and little things at first and see what we could get away with. That would be where
Are
like
you
the
talking about?
monopoly.
All right, hold up. This is literally what microtransactions are. This is
Listen,
literally
I
what.
don't know what I don't know specifically what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that a monopoly and gives too much
You don't
power
want
to a single
them.
company.
You don't want them implementing a system to where they can nickel and dime you a little bit at a time, and then it just progressively gets worse. I think that's what you're
Yes,
going for.
yes, yes. Which is because companies can be emboldened by having more power. The more power they have. So like monopolies is, and that's why there's restrictions on like monopolies for companies in real life and everything.
Exactly.
Like you can't. That's like
And I'm not arguing
Rockefeller. Rockefeller originally had like a 70% monopoly on
oil.
oil.
Yep.
So the government stepped in and said, "No, you can't fucking do this because if Rockefeller ever reached a like 99% monopoly or whatever, even with a 70% monopoly, they could literally dictate what the gas prices are, and no one could do anything about it because like, well,
Exactly.
70% of all the gas stations are owned by Rockefeller, so they all have the same price. There's only 30% that aren't necessarily going to have that price, but can they compete with Rockefeller?
Exactly. And what I'm going for here is it's not that I dislike multiple launchers. It's just I dislike every single company having their own launcher. Rockstar has a launcher.
Yes,
Ubisoft
it
has a
would be
launcher.
very
EA has a
convenient.
launcher.
It would be a lot more convenient if they were to get together.
I think the big launchers right now are Epic and Steam,
Yeah, I've not really heard anything about any other ones other than Epic and Steam for the most part.
right? And I think two or three that's good, right? Two or three big launchers.
Yeah,
Then you
yeah.
of course have the small boys, right? But two or three big launchers. There you go. That's it.
Mhm.
And you have places like GOG as well. They're pretty good. Isia brought that up at one point to me. Uh, GOG.
Oh yeah, because GOG has it set up where if you own a game, you can technically share it with other people
Yeah.
by by them logging onto your thing or whatever. Because I think me and him did that before with Divinity 2: Original Sin. uh, because he had it through GOG. So like, he's like, "Hey, just get on GOG or whatever, and we can just play together using
Yeah,
my
and then we were
account."
going to do that, and then I informed him of internet security, and he didn't do he didn't do it.
Right.
Which I'm okay with. Internet security is better than, sharing a game with a friend. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Don't let people know your password. That's all I'm saying. If you're watching this, this is a very important lesson. Do not let anyone have your password. All right? That password is your password.
Yeah. Protect your passwords. Because I know I have an email account that I literally lost because I someone got into it and changed the password on me. I don't have access to that email account anymore.
Also, if you see little posts on Facebook, I don't get on Facebook, but I know these happen, where it's like, your blank name is the name of the street you were born on and your first pet.
Or it's something dealing with your mother's maiden name. Yeah, these are scams.
These
Don't.
are just to get your personal information so they can get the questions to your security questions whenever they try to log into your account.
Yep. Like, what's your first pet's name? All this other stuff.
All right. So this is just a little tidbit. Internet safety is very important. All right. We're putting it in there. Be careful out there, peoples. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to end it. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I have a quick question for you. This is just a personal question that I was wondering about.
Okay.
When you play a game and like you buy you can buy weapons and you can buy armor. Which do you buy first? Do you like if you just
It
have enough
really
money to
depends
upgrade
on the
things? Do
game.
you really?
It
Okay.
really depends on the game. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like the answer is usually uh depends on the game, but in most situations, I always go armor.
I normally go weapons, but you know that we have two very different play styles.
Yes. I mean, I've gone aggressive as well, but I feel like it's usually my desire for better armor usually is based around and I games that have a full game over if this character dies. Like I've played a couple quite a bit of games where like the main character is the main character. If the main character dies, it's game over. It doesn't matter if the other people in the party are up or not.
I
So
don't
in
play
those
games like that,
situations, yeah,
but go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you
in
finish.
those situations, it's usually better to get armor. But even disregarding that, um, resurrection costs in games where like you can like I know the Dragon Quest games are like this. If people die, you can just go to the church and you can get them resurrected. Costs you money though, so save resurrection costs, but get built by the armor first.
Yeah. Like I said, it depends on the game, but I like going offensive for the most part. I like being able to do glass cannon builds where if I hit you before you hit me, which I'm very fucking good at, uh,
Hmm.
I can kill you, right? And that's just what I like to do. Um, I do believe that in certain games, defense is more practical, right? At the time, but for example, faster and light, defense is your most practical choice in the beginning.
Yep.
You want to get that second shield within the first three sectors because normally, mind you, not always, normally, there's no weapons within those first three sectors that will penetrate shields besides missiles, right? No laser
Hmm.
weapons, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and like you said with faster than light, it's just it's also like it's difficult because like the really good weapons are also going to be costly for using, and it's you're usually just better off. There's so many ways in that game where you can just if you just have enough shield and you can survive a long list of like if you get a crew teleporter, just send your people over, kill their crew. It's like if so as long as your shields are powerful enough and can keep withstanding the blasts from their weapons, you can just keep you can it can take as however long you want it to take.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, for that question, it's game dependent. But yeah, yeah. Overall, I'm more of an offense. You're more of a defense.
Yep. If you
Anyway,
survive, you can always turn it around.
if you murder them, then well,
Yeah.
you survived.
I
Easy.
also like to have a large toolkit in games.
I do like
So
large toolkits as well.
yeah, yeah. I don't like just oh well I have like these three physical attackers. It's like I like no, I like having a support person and I like having a physical person, magic person.
Yeah.
I almost always have someone who's devoted just to buff debuffs.
Now that I don't do. I do like healer, wizard, two melees normally.
Buffs and debuffs go a long way in a lot of games, like more so than you would normally think they would.
I
They,
know, but I'm programmed. It's programmed in my brain. Fuck shit up. Worry about everything else later.
I mean, I talk about buffs, debuffs. I actually, in any Pokemon game, I have never had Pokemon with with literally anything other than just pure attacks.
Yeah.
Like, with the exception of things like, oh well, I'm going to leave this Pokemon with its hypnosis so I can catch Pokemon easier.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to wrap up here, guys. If you're watching the stream, hit the follow. If you're watching the YouTube video, hit the subscribe. I really do
Hit the like
appreciate
button.
all of it. And hit that like button. Smash that like button. Just hit it. Bam! Right there on the like button.
Smash it
Fuck
through your
yeah.
screen. Don't even click it. Just smash your
Just
screen right where
punch
that
the shit
like
out of your
button is.
monitor. If it's on your phone, slam your phone in the ground where the like button is. Anyway, hit the
Please
like
do not
button.
actually do this
Yeah,
because we
don't
don't
actually.
want you to break your stuff.
Yeah, don't do. Hit the like button though. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.